Hey, everybody. I'm Brett Arnold of Yahoo Entertainment and the New Flesh podcast.
And I'm Mark Dujsik of MarkReviewsMovies.com, and this is At the Movies Again, a weekly movie review podcast where two film critics in the old school style of Siskel and Ebert review all the week's new movies. We are not associated with Gene Siskel or Roger Ebert, obviously, in any way, but we're doing this show because it's a lot of fun to do, and we are that's about it. I got nothing. I'm off my rhythm here. It's Monday morning and we're
Yes.
recording the podcast, so I'm just off my rhythm completely. This week we have 8 new movies to talk about, including I can actually say how they did. The box office sensation Backrooms, Pressure, a historical drama about World War II and the weather in this economy. The Breadwinner, Nate Bargatze's big screen debut, the stand-up comedian. Propeller, One-Way Night Coach, John Travolta's movie debut, currently streaming on Apple TV Plus. A Shudder horror drama called Smothered. The Currents, Renoir out of Japan. And I Love Boosters. We are catching up with Boots Riley's newest one, I Love Boosters. That will be the last thing. If you were wondering where that's at, you wanted to get to that, you could jump ahead and then come back. So there we are.
That is where we are.
Not clunky at all.
No, it works. It is Monday morning. This is my fault that we're recording late. I was on vacation. How dare I go on vacation and ruin our schedule? But I caught up with everything I think that I needed to. Mark saw Power Ballad already, which is out in limited release now. It's the latest John Carney film. He's the guy behind one of my favorite movies ever, Sing Street. He became known because of what was the movie called? Once. Huge movie for me.
I love Once.
Huge movie for me. Used to have blare that CD in my mom's car on the way to wherever we were going in whatever year that was, all the time. Really great stuff. But John Carney's newest film, Power Ballad, is out in limited release. Will be out in wide release next week. I'll catch it in time for next episode. What else did I want to say? I don't know. I guess that's it. Backrooms, Pressure, based on my experience in the theater, Mark, going to these movies just like a regular civilian, not early or anything, you'd think Pressure was the box office success that's blowing the roof off the place, because when I saw that on a Sunday afternoon,
that's why
it was full of every senior citizen in town was there. It is playing like gangbusters to that crowd, and Backrooms, when I went, was empty because I think it was opening Friday, the first show of the day. So there just wasn't that many people there yet. Anyway, that's not the case. The Backrooms is a huge hit, $10 million movie that made 88 or something like that. If you conclude international, it's already over 100 maybe. Obsession is in week 3, having a resurgence, a crazy box office resurgence, the likes of which we haven't seen since E.T., when that movie went up in its third weekend, a 30% or whatever. There's crazy stuff happening at the box office, including Star Wars bombing at the expense of those two movies, or maybe just simultaneously. I don't know who's to blame. Mostly Disney's to blame. We talked about that last week. Anyway, let's get into it. Here is the trailer for Backrooms. If you don't know anything about this movie, it's essentially a 19-year-old YouTuber was handed $10 million from A24 to make a movie based on his viral videos that he made online about this place called the Backrooms, like a liminal space that just like is eerie because it's empty rooms and it's strange. And it actually originates from a 4chan post, if you can believe it, that this kid adapted. Is it worth your time? Here's the trailer.
I found something in the store.
Okay. What did you find?
The place. I found a place.
हम जमीन के रहने वालों की तरफ से
Hello?
आपको
That trailer gives you a good sense of what the Backrooms itself looks like. I'm torn on this movie, Mark, because I think it is interesting, and when it is doing the like thing it's good at, like the spooky stuff in the back rooms with characters like almost like a video game POV, you're kind of walking around and it's really creepy. I think that stuff works really great. I just think the script is pretty bad, and it does like a classic A24 specific horror movie thing where it's like, all right, so how is this going to be a metaphor for trauma? And it basically does that. And I'm open to readings that are more, interesting than that. But like that is what I got from it mostly. But I did find it compelling when it's doing the spooky stuff. I think this director, Kane Parsons, is talented, clearly, and is really good at staging these sequences. There's a lot of like they built this practical set for the back rooms, which is really cool. This movie like deserves praise for the production design and doing all that stuff. And it also like uses Blender, which is something I don't really understand, but is like visual effects, CGI, a way of like creating spaces. He uses that too. And like the movie's a pretty good blend of those things. And they definitely prize the practical in a way that I appreciated. So I want to praise this movie, but then I like remember the third act clunkiness that I found it to have, and then I remember how it's just constantly telling you expositorily, like, this is what this movie's about. It is about unresolved traumas and things we don't talk about, etc. But I don't know. I'm halfway there. What did you think?
Yeah, I really liked everything with the back rooms in terms of it just being a space that exists as a mystery, as this puzzle, as this impossible thing that doesn't make any sense. I really enjoyed that just surreal sort of horror where everything, so the plot is just Chiwetel Ejiofor is a furniture store owner. In the basement, he discovers an open wall, essentially. There's just a wall, but he can walk through it, and through that wall, big open space filled with rooms and hallways where
Yeah.
the architecture, he says, is like somebody just designed it on acid, which is what it looks like.
Yeah, it's like a chair like halfway through a wall.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
There are
Strange stuff.
pillars that don't make any sense where they're at. There are just half walls, just around
Which is
cubicles
so
that don't
intriguing.
exist. It's so, yeah, it is. It is. It really, really is. And as he gets further and further in, there's more and more that's going on with it. I just kind of enjoyed taking all that in. And you're right, the production design on this is very good. You could tell a lot of it is practical. You could tell where they use the visual effects, but they're done really well, especially in that third act chase where I don't want to give away what, but there's a part where if you have vertigo or fear of heights, that will get triggered immediately because yeah, that's a good effect. But
Yeah.
my problem is exactly yours. It is the script is just shallow. It does. I think most of the screenplay for what amounts to the story and the plot was just made up on set, which is just how are you going to get through the back rooms? That's what matters here.
Right.
Everything else about the trauma and about this, using the therapy session right away to just explain the character and everything that's going on with him is kind of just lazy. And then those flashbacks for the other character. I I don't know. Once you start to explain this stuff in any way, I think the the aura, the mystery, the actual appeal of the backrooms kind of dissipates. And this movie wants to have it both ways, where it is going to explain enough for people who are just like, what is going on here? I need to have some kind of sense of what's going on here,
Yeah.
but not enough to ruin the mystery for people who are, for the origins of, as you brought up, on the internet, where everybody is just creating all this origin story and lore for it, not giving too much away so that people can keep playing around with it.
Right.
And that makes it frustrating because it works as a horror movie when it's just exploring the
Yeah.
space.
The opening scene's really striking. Like the POV,
Yeah. Yep.
like very video gamey guy in a scary space, which like I just wish the movie had more of that because it really does slow down a lot to have expository conversations. And I did think the third act was pretty deadly in terms of like what happens with the character and like what's going on. But you know what's nuts is Chiwetel Ejiofor is fantastic in this movie. Like I think he's giving a great performance to a character that doesn't have a lot there, and he really is very compelling in this. And Renate Reinsve, who we know from The Worst Person in the World and all these, was it Norwegian films? I don't know if I think she's good here. I think she's saddled with all the expository shit. So like it's not, it's just like, okay, why is this Norwegian woman here and talking as this guy's therapist? I don't know. It's underwhelming to me in a narrative sense, I guess, but completely interesting and fascinating and satisfying to me as like a horror visual experience, though that horror visual experience takes up what percent of the movie? Like 25, 30? Like it's not a huge chunk of it where I can go still see it anyway, despite my problems with it. It's still like I think this is a 2.5-star movie that shows a lot of promise for this director, and I'm very interested in his career. I think he's got a great eye, and he can craft sequences that are tense and scary, like genuinely. And I just think the script does it a disservice because it doesn't live up to that stuff. But like maybe it was always Doom. It's a YouTube short thing that maybe doesn't really translate well to a narrative feature. And in that sense, like out of all the movies that are a metaphor for trauma, like I get this one being that. Like I think it's a really compelling explanation for like what it is. But I just don't think the movie does a very good job of going about it. And I think it's clunky the way it just snaps in the third act and this is happening now. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. So yeah, I found that to be like strange motivation. Maybe I'd feel differently on a rewatch. I don't know. I'm compelled enough that I probably will rewatch this one day. I think it's really cool that this has become a phenomenon and is like going to lead to a shift in the industry because Star Wars is failing in its second week to the third week of Obsession and the insane debut of this movie. So I think it's interesting, and our review, I don't want to dissuade anyone from seeing it. It's a genuine phenomenon. Go see the new cool shiny object thing that is the Gen Z filmmakers are here. So I don't know. I'm genuinely 2.5, where I'm like, I think this is very interesting. I think it gets away from it on a narrative level, but man, the idea at the center of it is really cool, and you could see them doing a lot with this.
Becomes less and less interesting as it goes because it just tries to explain too much, and then that third act it just turns into a chase with a goofy monster that doesn't quite work. It's so disappointing that you set this all up.
Yeah, like I appreciated the practicalness of that monster thing too. I think it's cool and weird, but like it also like what movie is this now? Like this is a completely different movie than I was watching before, and I think it's much. You're right. I didn't need it to be explained to me. So the fact that
I didn't either.
The fact that it leans so heavily into here's what we think is going on. The movie keeps repeating the same thing about loops and how people get stuck in them, and it wants to be read in all these ways. And I think it would be much better off if they didn't go, well, here's what's happening to these characters specifically, instead of being like, here's what's going on in the back rooms at large, what this place is, what it represents. I don't know. They explain too much when it would have been much more mysterious if it was like a David Lynch thing where he's like someone asks to be explained and he's like, no, I won't explain what that is. Like I want it to be more.
We don't know what this is. We really do not know what this is. We've been trying to figure it out, and we don't know what it is, and that makes it creepier, right? I think it does.
And like
that's my stance on it.
And isn't what's the whole deal with the Duplass character who like is there to be the scientist who then I think basically ends up saying what you said, where it's like they actually don't know anything. So it's like, what is this here for?
He shows up kind of like the equivalent of the psychiatrist at the end of Psycho, where it's it's just like, I don't know why you're here. Why are you telling all of this? And why is this movie end with dialogue that doesn't make a lick of sense? And we're just gonna, okay, I guess that's it. I guess that's where we're at now. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
2 stars for me for Backrooms.
It definitely falls apart as it goes.
Yeah. 2 stars for me for Backrooms. I do wonder, we do have to, maybe we should bring it up, just this idea of what lesson is Hollywood going to learn from the success of Backrooms and Obsession, where you have young filmmakers come in with new ideas or newish ideas.
Yeah.
My concern, I would think, is these are going to get turned into sequels and
it's IP already. It's IP.
It is. It's IP.
It's like, the new IP. Yeah.
And they're not going to learn their lesson that, this is going to fade away after a couple of years.
They're going to chase
Star Wars.
Yeah, they're going to chase the new IP instead of realizing like new voices, new talent. Like that's what's important.
Have ideas.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe, let them keep going with their plans. If they have a new idea, great, bring it in.
And
if you have a good idea for a sequel like Smile 2, which
great movie,
elevated the material to a new level, I think. let's keep going with this stuff. But I'm worried that they're going to learn the wrong lesson from all
Well,
of this.
I mean, how can you teach people like the Star Wars executives or whoever makes a decision for the Mandalorian and Grogu, which like me, not a box office pundit, a movie reviewer who is just like, casually hobby-esque interest in this thing. Why did I know that the Mandalorian and Grogu was going to bomb miserably? And the Disney people thought it was going to be like their way back to theaters. Like, why did I know that and they didn't? Like, executives exist, so blunders like this don't happen. Like, someone should go, oh, that's fucking dumb. Like, we shouldn't do the Mandalorian movie first. If anything, do that Ryan Gosling movie first. Because, like, I don't know. I think that one sounds dumb too because Sean Levy's doing it. But like, they're botching it in every conceivable way, and like, hopefully they'll learn their lesson now because this movie did bomb. But like, I just fear are they gonna double down on Filoni again for no reason? Like, I don't know. It seems like something will happen. Something's gonna happen as a result of Grogu bombing and these two movies doing really well. We're gonna see a sea change, perhaps.
But also, the success of Obsession and Backrooms is not new. Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch Project, all those movies set the bar. And as soon as those movies tried to turn into sequels and franchises, they collapsed. Eventually, it took Paranormal Activity, I think, I think it took them like 2 sequels
with the Undertone guy, which basically that movie just felt like an audition for that, and he got it. So good for him, I suppose.
Basically, in 15 years, we're going to have the reboot of Backrooms. Is that what I think we're kind of saying? After the 7th movie, it kind of got a little stale, and now here comes Backrooms, the next generation.
Yeah, there's a lot interesting here. I mean, that set is really cool, and
it's
so cool that they built a lot of it, and it's just, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if this movie got like production design awards. Like, it's very, it's like the star of the movie. Like, it
really, really is.
I think we'll be hearing about this
with
movie.
it, even with it being repetitive, on just the color scheme of it being yellow all the time, it still feels new every time you go into it. The part of the repetitiveness that I didn't like is that it's on a plot level. It's that first scene over and over and over again throughout the movie without the exposition scenes, which are just dull and fatal to this.
I mean, that like dinner table scene, I get why it's like supposed to be spooky and like he's evoking, Texas Chainsaw. It's just, I want to like that scene, but like I just hate what's happening. I hate what's happening in it so much.
It's telling you exactly what you need to know.
Yeah, I'm like, come on. Yeah, that character. Yeah, I don't know. There's just not a lot. God bless EGO4 because he's so good.
He's great,
and the character doesn't have a lot going on, but they really make him the centerpiece. Anyway. 2 from Mark, 2.5 from me for the phenomenon that is Backrooms. We also didn't like Obsession, so we're both like not on the cutting edge of what's working with the teens. That's okay.
Not.
That's okay. In both cases, I'm delighted that the box office is finding new life, and that it's very important that it's Gen Z, like that it's young people that are going. Like, because the prognosticating for a long time was that young people don't go to movies anymore. When the actuality is, old people don't really go anymore. They rather stay at home. They don't think it's worth it. The young people understand eventizing and want to go see stuff.
Yeah,
is an event. So
Minecraft proved that.
Yeah, and the Minecraft the title just came out for the sequel. It's a Minecraft movie squared. They're keeping A in it, which is so confusing and stupid to me. Anyway,
they spelled out squared instead of just putting it up there.
They did, huh?
Okay.
Will that be a detriment to it at the box office? I'm just kidding. What if we just turn into box office punditry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up,
what are the awards? What are the awards potential for these because of this?
You know what? On that front, though, Obsession, Indy Navarrete feels like she's going to be nominated. I believe
hope so.
I believe it in my heart of hearts, and I believe because of Backroom success and the fact that it actually is the deserving candidate for production design and stuff like that, I think it will also be nominated for that. Maybe only that, but that's cool. So I hope those things come to fruition. Let's play these clips in a few months when those nominations happen, or actually in almost a year because they happen.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
Jesus Christ!
Why did they really keep it?
Why?
We got to move on. Why did they keep it?
Why
did
they keep the Oscar so late? It should be in. Isn't it in? Is it? It's in April, May.
It should be in January.
Yeah, but it's in like
late
March
January. But it's in March.
Unbelievable. Trailer, movie, Pressure, World War II, D-Day, Weather. It's peak dad movie. And when I went, not only were the seats full, there was a whole bunch of people in the aisle just watching it with their hands on their hips like dads watch TV at home. as well. There weren't, but imagine that's if they should sell seats to the movie like that, standing room only. It's dad standing room only. You have to be a dad to get it. Here's the trailer for Pressure, which stars Andrew Scott and Damian Lewis and Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser's really. We have to talk about Brendan Fraser. Here's the trailer for Pressure.
The final decision on the timing of D.
Call General Eisenhower.
Tiger was a training op, dress rehearsal for D-Day. They walked right into it. One mistake. Just that one mistake.
Ike, you have to stop doing this to yourself. What's done is done.
Group Captain Dr. James Stagg, here at the express request of General Eisenhower.
Do we have a date yet for the invasion zone?
D-Day is in 61 hours from now. This is the largest seaborne invasion in history.
It's a movie built on the dramatic tension of a weather broadcast or weather forecast being correct. Because they're trying to plan D-Day and for the war, to end the war, big war stuff. And they need the weather to be to cooperate. So like, do they go this day or do they go the next day? And there's difference in opinions between the hoity-toity British guy who comes in and is very by the books, and then there's an American guy who's like, who can predict anything? It's fine. It's gonna be fine. And there is tension to it. I think the premise is actually pretty good, and like it's a play apparently, and I could see it working as a play. It also is something about it doesn't work. It's boring. Maybe it's just repetitive, and it has like one of those endings we all know already because it's a real life story. So there's like inherently not that much dramatic tension to it because we know it's eventually going to happen on a certain time and date. But there is some interesting stuff about the specifics of it. Brendan Fraser's really bad in it. I think Andrew Scott's really good. I think Brendan Fraser is going so big that I love him. And I'm all in on the Fraser Renaissance. I really want it to continue. But like, this is not the first bad performance of his in the past few years. He was great in Rental Family. So like, I'll give him that. I didn't think The Whale was good, which you won an Oscar for. And I think this was a really bad performance. Really big, like, maybe he was, because it's a play, he was going stagey. But like, it was too much for me. And it took me out a few times. But why didn't you connect with this one?
I'm in a strange position here because I like this idea of trying to create drama out of a predictive weather report. I like this idea. I like when movies tell you something, this sounds boring, but we're going to make it interesting. And I kept waiting for the weather to become interesting. I kept waiting for them to try to explain why in the North Atlantic and in Northern Europe and all this stuff and all these things they keep talking about. Why specifically is this so different that we have to figure it out? Like, what about the weather and how do you figure that out? And what are the pieces that have to move to do this kind of operation to figure it out? And it never comes down to that. It just comes down to exactly what you said. The British guy and the American guy yelling at each other about the weather. And that's boring when you don't explain why it is, other than just they have a difference of opinion. One person thinks it's going to be sunny, mostly because they want it to be sunny. And this guy thinks it's going to rain, mostly because he's actually looking at the data and figuring out that it might rain. That's not good drama. That's just surface level, two guys yelling at each other, having arguments, and then you eventually figure out, the end result, everybody knows when they say like, oh, we're going to, D-Day is June 5th. D-Day is June 5th.
You're like,
June 5th is when we're going. Sure. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So I wonder what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
It has that big problem where they lay it on so thick that this is an important story that needs to be told about D-Day and everything going on. I kept waiting for it to become that, and it never does. And it mostly is because it doesn't pay enough attention to the weather. And that sounds so dull to say it out loud, but if they had actually maybe explained a bit more about the weather, found out a way to dramatize that process of meteorology,
it's a good point.
Maybe it would have been more interesting because you would have been like, I never would have thought that could be compelling. But it is. Movies do it all the time where they take something that you don't think about often and shows you a new angle on it, and it makes it into like, why is this guy so obsessed with the weather? Why is it so important to him? show us that, make us care about it.
And then
Instead,
maybe it's a true story, and maybe it's totally manufactured drama.
no,
but
it is.
like,
It's a true story, at least.
but like the details about his family and stuff, like a lot of it just feels
yeah.
like movie stuff, which like
Yes,
maybe
it does.
maybe it isn't, but like it feels like it. It's like narratively, doing what it's doing, and it's just like, okay, like I don't know, maybe I'm being me crude, but like, just you're right, it doesn't have the drama that it needs, and I don't know what it wants from the audience. Like it clearly wants us to be engaged in this like banter and back and forth, and like there was just so many laugh lines that fell flat in a crowded theater of people. Like, so like something's not working. I feel like, even though people are probably going to go and say that was fine, it wasn't connecting on the level that I think it thinks it's connecting on. Something's off.
Yeah, something is off. And I don't know. I think that's where it lost me, is just that I wanted to see some actual drama about the weather, and instead it's just two guys yelling at each other and a history lesson that everybody, I think, knows. I would hope. I don't know. Maybe Gen Z, who's next door in Backrooms, they can go, through pressure afterwards with a ticket, obviously, buy a ticket afterwards, and then see, oh yeah, I knew this or not, and get
Yeah.
back to us. Did you know?
Did
know
Gen
about
Z
D-Day?
know about D-Day? Well, my
Did
dad.
you know learn this in school?
My dad was texting me about, he saw a movie. He actually saw Obsession. My 80-year-old father saw Obsession and said that he liked it. But he was like, there's that trailer for the D-Day movie. I want to see that. And I was like, oh yeah, Steven Spielberg, Disclosure Day. I really want to see that. And he was like, no, that's not it. I don't know what that is. He meant the war one, which is this one. So I hope my dad makes it out to pressure. I feel like I was obligated to go see this on a Sunday as a dad. Like, there was a meeting among all dads, and we have to. It's a requirement. So if you're a dad, I guess you have to dutifully go. But I think I'm 2 stars as well. It's just not that good. Like, I agree with you. I want to be on this movie side. Like, yeah, wow me with this weather movie. But you're right. It gets bogged down in the wrong pedantic details, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 2 stars for me for pressure as well.
All right. Let's move on to The Breadwinner, which is Nate Bargatze's
Oh boy.
sitcom pilot turned into a movie. And by that I mean it's a stand-up comedian who's taking his stand-up bits, which I love, and turning them into, a movie. I think this movie shows the limits of that, and also like it works enough, maybe. Here's a trailer for The Breadwinner.
Have a million things going on. That's why I invented the Star Minder.
I really think you might have something. I'm going to give you an offer.
Running a company's a 24/7 job. What about your husband? Could he take care of the kids?
Nate?
Wait a second, is he here?
What? Yes.
Yeah, bring him out.
We are moving.
We're moving.
Yeah. Here he comes.
What, are you kidding? Are you eating a donut? The garbage can up there.
You can finish it.
No, I'm out of here.
I'm out.
Your wife is having the moment of her life and you're stuffing your face? You're a bozo. Are you allowed to talk if you're already out?
Lori thinks I might have something, but are you sure you can handle this?
I'm the top salesman at the dealership. I think I can handle a month alone with the girls. You act like I'm gonna blow the house up.
Bye. Dad, the front door is locked.
There's a window in the back. We'll crawl through that. This isn't the 1950s. Dads stay home all the time.
This is not gonna go well.
He's gonna love pressure. I know that much.
Yeah, Nate Bargatze dad should go take those kids to pressure for sure. I didn't dislike this movie as much as a lot of people seem to really find it. Just a lot of people don't know Nate or like understand, just don't get the phenomenon of Nate Bargatze, who's like one of the most successful stand-ups in the country. So if you don't know him, maybe it's something about the laid backness of his comedy that like it doesn't seem like it's going to translate well to a movie. And like arguably some people think it doesn't, but like I find him funny. So like I found that clip even funny. Like that trailer has moments I found funny. I just think, I don't know. There's 2 parts of me. There's parts of me that like, yes, I understand this is like a regressive, like 80s style Mr. Mom. Men can't do fatherly things, isn't it? Like, whoa, you can't take care of the kids, which is broad and stupid. But then like he makes an observation like towel laundry never stops. And I'm like, he's right. He's right to be saying this. And he deserves the platform. So I'm like halfway there. I thought this was funny at times. A little, sitcom-y, which is fine for something like this. Doesn't like look good visually or anything like that. I guess they did go really hard with the towel sequence. There's like a practical, fantastical towel sequence. But yeah, Mark liked this movie, I think, more than anyone. So we gotta hear from him.
Possibly. Yeah. I think there's like maybe a couple of other critics who enjoyed it to some degree.
Like I told my dad to go see it. Like he likes Nate Bargatze. He would like this.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I found it funny, and then maybe it's just because of the expectations of a stand-up comedian going into a movie after we've seen Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
All About My Dad, and what was The Machine. The
Yeah.
Machine. Remember The Machine?
Yeah,
That was
Bert
awful.
Kreischer, Sebastian Maniscalco, and Joe Coy are those movies. Yes.
So maybe my expectations with those movies, which are barely movies, and trying to figure out what they're doing with a story, and just turning stand-up bits literally into a plot. This one where it's about a guy. It's about this one guy who is so incompetent at common things that he can't get it right. And the story is structured just entirely around that, and that being funny, that it kind of worked on me with those expectations of it's a stand-up comedian who is funny, being funny in this movie where he's playing a stock character. And he's surrounded by some other funny people. Colin Jost is in this. Camille Nanjiani's in this. I'm trying to think who else. A lot of people show up. A lot of comedians
Zach
show up.
Cherry, yeah,
and help him out. It's not just a one-man show. It's also all these other people.
Martin Herlihy from SNL as the pizza guy.
Yes, it's a delivery guy. We're gonna get to know each other over the next month. So
yes.
This is the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me, giving him a $20 bill. There's funny stuff in here.
Yeah.
There is. It's not revolutionary. I don't want anybody to think that. I just think for what it's trying to do.
If you're judging it on the Ebert scale of like, does it do what it's set out to do? Right.
Exactly. Does it do exactly what it sets out to do, and how well does it do it? I think it does it pretty well, and I found it funny and kind of charming. And I think Nate Bargatze, he's not going to be the greatest actor ever, but he is playing a character who is likable enough. And the fact that he can do all this stuff, and you don't think that Mandy Moore's wife is going to divorce him by the end just because he is a likable guy. It's like, I buy all of this, and it works enough. So 3 stars for me for The Breadwinner. I think it's funny enough and charming enough to justify it existing.
Where does all the laundry come from? It never stops. That's the most relatable element to me. Our washer jar is broken right now, so we're like, I'm going to the laundromat all the time to pick up stuff. So I'm particularly keen to that. But I'm 2.5 stars on it. I'm like almost there. I think it's just a little lacking in, I don't know, originality, which like that's a stupid thing to say.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I think it needs to be funnier.
To be original.
I don't know if it. I guess I would recommend it to someone with kids who are young enough to enjoy it, but not too young that they don't want to see a live action movie. I would tell my dad to see it, but I don't know. It was fine. It's a 2.5. That's like, it's fine. That's where I am.
It's not. There's nothing revolutionary about this. It's just this is what it is. I think it's a good example of it.
Cool. And where are you on it?
3 stars.
3 stars for Mark for The Breadwinner, and I am 2.5. Next up, let's talk about the writer-director debut of John Travolta. He's adapting his own children's book that he wrote, which I need to check out and see if it's also about the fact that his mother was sleeping around a lot, or not him, the character's mother in this movie. It's very much like a narrative where this kid is like
Jeff, not John. Jeff, the kid is
Jeff.
Totally
different character. Where this child is realizing, or like maybe not realizing through the narration. He knows. I think the kid knows, but like it's like the things his mom are doing is just like his mom is like meeting dudes and having sex with them, and he's just like, this plane ride is awesome. Is that the book? Very strange. Anyway, here's the trailer for this movie that I found weirdly charming in spite of what it's about. It's also an hour long, so it's like the shortest movie we've ever reviewed on here, probably, because it's like barely a feature film. Here's the trailer for Propeller One-Way Night Coach, a John Travolta film.
Surprise! We are going on a jet.
What?
All aboard, please.
There it was, an absolute specimen of an aircraft, my first love.
Welcome aboard.
I can't believe I'm flying.
This would begin an experience I would never forget. Here I am on this plane going to one of the farthest trips the airline offers.
Propeller one-way night coach. Stops at Pittsburgh, Chicago, Kansas City, Denver, and Los Angeles.
I never thought things could get better. The sun was shining, and I was eating a hot dog at 600 miles an hour.
Lunch is ready. Chicken cordon bleu. Mom, I don't really like this. Can I have another hot dog?
That's the movie. It's about a boy naively or cutely, whatever you want to think about it. Just a boy. It's just youth. It's about a boy who is excited by the idea of being on planes. It might be a coming out story of sorts for having autism. That also struck me when I was watching it. It feels like, okay, this kid's really obsessed with planes. Is John Travolta trying to tell us something? Because he's very obsessed with planes. John Travolta. He's a pilot. He has his pilot's license. I know this. Didn't he? He was a pilot in, was it Look Who's Talking? I think it is.
Oh yeah,
I wonder if that's when he became a pilot and he became obsessed with it. Anyway, he's obsessed with planes. So there's like an earnest.
Oh, it was when he was a kid and he went on the cross country flight with his mother. That's
yeah.
Come on, that's when he became obsessed with planes.
That's a great point, because I assume this movie is autobiographical. Because otherwise, why would you make it? Sorry, my mic is being weird. I'm trying to fix it. Anyway, it's a strange movie, but I found it is kind of, there's an earnestness to it because John Travolta made it, and I like know he's obsessed with planes. There's an earnestness to it that is interesting, even if I found it mostly confounding in the sense of like, what are you trying to say about, I don't know, like life, existing, class, anything. Like I feel like there's like it could be about a lot of things, and it just is really not. It's just like a boy's memory of a really nice time he had that maybe informed the rest of his life. And there's something sparse and charming about it, but it is very strange. And I just think like the strangeness of it was what I liked. Like I liked that John Travolta made this weird movie. Like why did he feel compelled to take millions of dollars of Apple money, or I don't know how it happened, and make this movie? It's interesting. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, as a thought experiment, is trying to figure out how he convinced them to give him that money and why they thought, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, we'll
and
make
also,
an hour. Do you think he
and
told
also
them
sent it to the Cannes Film
Right.
Festival? Also, by the way, I mean,
that felt like a favor because he's friends with the guy who runs the fest, Terry, whoever. But that was a nice moment. They gave him a surprise award, and he went viral because he's wearing a beret. And
he
then
likes berets now.
And well, the interview was so earnest. He was like, someone's like, why the berets? And he's like, you know what? I'm a director now. When I think of old timey directors in photos, they wear berets. I wear a beret. I'm wearing a beret. He's dressing the part. So I like there's such an earnestness to all of this that I'm like, yes, I know this guy's a Scientology crank, but he's also had a hard life. He's experienced loss. I want to be on his side, and this movie, I'm like teetering on its side. I'm just not sure what I'm supposed to get out of it. I would love to hear him talk about it, frankly.
I think the movie itself tells you the kid loves planes. The kid's on a plane. He's very excited about the plane. The plane does all of this. These people are on the plane, and don't you want to talk to them about the plane and the planes?
It's like it was a technological advancement at the time. Like, even though planes been around for a while, but like it was what jets were new, like the fast ones.
Yes, exactly. And he wanted to make sure it was a propeller flight because that's the one that he was so obsessed with watching.
Autistically
on TV
obsessed
and has
with
a schedule. He has the schedule, the plane schedule. Knows exactly when it's. He really, 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 really likes planes. I got it. I didn't need to be told that for an hour, especially with John Travolta just narrating it almost nonstop the entire time.
Yes,
correct. I don't know what to make of it. It is confounding and strange, and I did not enjoy it.
I can't officially give it 3 stars or anything because I don't really understand what I'm supposed to get out of it other than like a nostalgic. Isn't it nice? Like just truly, like what would anyone do? In their, how old is he? In his 60s, 70s?
8. I'm sorry. He's 8 years old. He might still
John
at heart.
Travolta,
He's 8 years old.
8 years old.
Well,
that's kind of what I'm getting
at.
at.
8 years old on that plane with his mom.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, I think there's something to the idea of a man like John Travolta. It's so interesting that he made this movie. Like, why are like? I think it goes to show like everyone's obsessed with their youth. They're like their youth defines them, and like there's a moment from their youth that they, for some reason, are still fixated on, and like, but like, what does that mean? And all I got out of it was like, again, I'm like, are you trying to tell us you have like this autistic love of planes? Like, what are you saying? And then what's the stuff with your mother? Like, was his mother promiscuous? Like, I don't know who. I don't know enough about
what's more
his personal life to know that.
What I want to say though is that I think I found every other character except the kid to be more interesting, just because of this. Like the mother trying to raise this kid and look for a husband or whatever she's trying to do, and flying across the country with
is
this
she
dream of
sleeping
becoming
around
an actress.
trying to find a father figure? Like, it's interesting.
That's more compelling than the plane. The flight attendant who's a Holocaust survivor and becomes lifelong friends with his mother after this one encounter on the plane.
I mean, yeah,
that's a more interesting story than this.
The more you think about it, the more it's like these specific details are so specific. Like, maybe he made that up. But like, it just seems like when he was a kid, he took a plane with his mom, and this happened. There was this lady who was this, like, it just feels like he just made like a little vignette about his life, and it's just like, what am I supposed to get out of it other than this happened? Like, okay. I don't know.
The fact that he cast his daughter as the flight attendant that his stand-in ends up having a crush on, we could unpack that. Maybe that might be more interesting.
We could. I don't want to. I would really.
I don't
not
either.
Like to.
I'm just saying. There are a lot more interesting things going on in this movie than what the movie just keeps telling you it's about over and over again. That's all I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think you mentioned your review. Like, it looks pretty good, right? Like, it has.
It has okay. Like. I mean, you know when there's the visual effects, though. You know because it looks bad, but.
Okay, I guess
on
that's
a production
fair.
level.
Yeah, I guess I'm 2.5 on it because I appreciate a lot of what's happening, I guess, but it's lacking the ingredient that like makes it all come together and explains why John Travolta decided to write a book and then make it into a movie about this. Other than it's just an exercise in nostalgia and trying to heal your inner child or something. Like, I don't know. I'm interested in. I would love to if you did a podcast talking about this with somebody. Like, I would listen to that. But I'm 2.5 on it, I guess.
I'm 1.5 on Propeller One-Way Night Coach. I have to get the title right because it's such a clunky. We didn't even talk about how clunky the title is.
What's a clunky title?
This, you know what this will do well? If you can turn down the brightness on your TV and turn this on before bed and you just listen to John Travolta talk about his cross-country flight with his mom, it will put you right to sleep because this is perfect for one of those apps where it's like it's somebody famous telling you a story about a train ride. This is perfect.
Brutal. I love it. I love when Mark doesn't like something. But I can't even fully defend it, so 2.5. Next up, Smothered. I believe it's shot by and edited by and written by Joko Anwar, a filmmaker that I am familiar with, an Indonesian filmmaker who's done several Shudder projects I enjoy, but he did not direct. But this film is Joko Anwar adjacent production. It's Indonesian, right? Indonesian horror film called Smothered. The S is lowercase, I believe, right? And everything else is that capitalized, or is it the opposite? Something like that.
Stylized where mother is all capitalized.
Mother's all capitalized. Smothered. Mothered's in there. Here's the trailer for Smothered, which I believe is on Shudder now, not doing the pipeline from theaters to VOD to Shudder, straight to Shudder. But it's good. Here's the trailer.
Bisa merantau, Mak, ke Rajo di Sinan. Biko kalau wala bepiti, awak kirim kamar. Awak capu ya, Mak.
Gak boleh gitu, Mir. I love you banget.
I love you banget.
Ini ibu kamu.
Tapi aku sama sekali nggak ingat muka ibuku gimana.
Awak takut Ali pernah jadi maling kundang.
This is a very cool movie with, I thought, a very ingenious premise, and it plays out quite well. Mark, tell me about Smothered.
It is a story of a guy who is involved in a car accident, loses his memory, can't remember anything going on, and yet he feels guilty about something, and he can't quite place what that is. And so that's
so good.
It's
already
so relatable, relatable right away.
I feel anxiety and guilt.
I feel
where does it? Where and why?
Why? It makes no sense. Why? I can't remember anybody. I had to have done something wrong, I guess. Anyway, that's what the premise is. And his mother shows up that he also cannot remember, but he thinks he's wronged his mother in some way. He doesn't know why.
Like completely estranged. Like he doesn't know like what his mother would look like. Like it's
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, like even before his wife has never met the mother. He's keeping her away from him from his family for some reason. And she shows up, and I don't want to give away too much. I don't even know if I could, because the movie is just playing this game over and over again of what is going on here? Why does this guy feel this way? What could have happened? How does all this fit in? What is the mother doing to him? Is she some kind of sinister force within his life and that's the reason why he's trying to block her out of his life and keep her away? And now this has just happened. Is there something going on with the wife? Because he feels bad about that too for some reason. And she brings up that maybe something had happened. Why was he in the car in the first place, speeding the wrong way down a street at the opening of the movie? There's a lot of mysteries here, but I really enjoyed it just because it's not just about the mystery. It's about trying to unpack this guy and who he is and what he's doing and why he's doing it and what all of those revelations mean about him as a person. I think by the end of the movie, you get a clearer sense of him and what he has done and who he is as a result of it, and how maybe he has changed because of all this experience of losing all those memories that he had. That's one of the more interesting things about the movies. People keep saying like, you're a lot nicer now than you used to be. We kind of like you right now when you don't have your memories. And so now it's like, what was he like beforehand?
Yeah, I was gonna joke. It's just like you hit your head and everyone likes you better. Like that's basically what happens in this thing.
Yes,
it's a bonk your head comedy where everyone's like, "You're better now."
I think. What was the one Harrison Ford movie where he has a traumatic brain injury and turns into a better person? Oh, what was that one called?
I don't know.
Oh no! Oh, you don't remember?
I haven't seen like his heyday really. Like a lot of it, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, now I'll look that up while you talk because I can't remember.
Regarding Henry, is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've heard of that movie. That movie came out the year I was born.
That's
a
would
Mike
be
Nichols
why.
movie. I can't believe I haven't seen it though. Okay, I'll watch that for sure. You know what? It took me like looking at other people's Letterboxd reviews, Mark, to realize that Smothered is actually like an adaptation of sorts of like a classic Indonesian folktale. That's a legendary cautionary tale about a young man who leaves his mother to seek fortune elsewhere, only to return years later as a wealthy merchant and deny knowing her out of shame. And in response, his mother curses him and he's turned into stone. So the movie like takes that idea and then like makes it its own. Like all the reviews were like, this is a really good take or twist on that story, which is called Malin Kundang, is the classic Indonesian folktale. Many reviews, like, all the reviews are from Indonesia basically. And some of them are in English, and most of them mention that it's like, really good foundational take on this, and then it goes in another direction and is more about this guy's the character and his identity and stuff. So knowing that makes it even richer to me. I'm like, oh wow, it's like because it worked for that it worked for both of us without knowing that.
Yeah, I
really
knew that there was some kind of folktale involved because of the original title, which pops up on the screen. I'm like, what does that mean? And you can figure it out. It's a legend of something or other.
Yes.
I didn't do enough research into what it meant because it didn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't need it. You just
doesn't need it. Doesn't need it at all. But I just felt like, oh wow, now I like want to engage with it more and see like, okay, what were they? What is different and what is from the story? So I'm compelled to like revisit and check out the story. I think it's really a well-crafted horror movie. Like it's spooky, it's creepy, and you care about this character, and the situation is just so uniquely constructed that I'm like, okay, it does make sense almost. That I'm like, okay, this is like a legendary story that someone's riffing on versus like someone came up with this really rich, which again they riffed on it, but like it's not surprising to me to find out that it's like some important work. But it's really interesting. I really liked it. Good Shudder, one of the better Shudder horror movies for sure. I'm a solid 3 stars on Smothered.
Yeah, 3 stars for me as well.
All right, I gotta see Regarding Henry. Wow, that's a blind spot. Next up, let's talk about The Currents. Is this a Hungarian filmmaker? Her last film was like a decade ago. It's like a person who makes films infrequently, but they're critically acclaimed often. I don't think I've ever seen one.
She's Argentine
filmmaker Milagros Mumenthalar. The Currents, really good movie. Here's the trailer.
¿Y hace cuánto no la vas?
Desde que volví de Suiza. Fui hace poquito.
¿Crees que hablemos lo rara esta? Es como que nunca volviste.
Está oscuro.
I agree with that pull quote that said it's transfixing from its first shot. This movie is very compelling. It's very understated. I feel like it will not work for a lot of people. It's a very like artful, meditative, thoughtful film where the answers aren't there because maybe the answers aren't there. Maybe there isn't an easy answer. And I found it just really, it's transfixing is a good word. It's very good. Tell me about it.
So it's about a woman played by Isabel Emi Gonzalez Sola, who goes from Buenos Aires to Geneva for an award for her work. And while she's wandering around the city after receiving the award and then throwing in the garbage, she jumps off a bridge into the water and doesn't tell anybody what she did after she comes home, doesn't tell her husband, doesn't tell her kid, doesn't tell her friends, doesn't tell anybody that she jumped off a bridge into the water and almost died. And the movie is just, she develops hydrophobia after that experience. And I think what I like about this movie is that it is just exactly what it is right on its face. It's about a woman who has attempted suicide and now has a fear of potentially doing it again. Then that's what the whole story is. It's just that tension of going through day-to-day life, trying to hide
with a husband and a child, especially.
Mhm. Yeah, and just trying to hide this feeling that you had, this act that happened, and this sense that you can't get away from it while going through her day-to-day life and the struggle of that. It's really good. And you're right, it is understated. It doesn't have any big answers. It's not about that. It's just about watching as this woman is going through all this and trying to get a handle on it and figure it out and figure out how to get past it without talking to anybody about it and the struggles of going through that. It's really good. There's not much more to say about it. It's just a character study about something important, and it works really well.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I'm like, I don't know what to say about it because like I would have a tough time recommending this to certain people. Like I wouldn't tell my parent, like my dad, to watch it or anything like that, you know? Like he wouldn't get anything out of this. But like, I don't know. If you're a thinker and you like think about big the questions in life and like what it means to have a child and what that would do to the self, it's things like that, like big questions. Like this movie is about those things without like addressing them head on. And I find it really interesting the way it actually gets at the things it's about with like, I feel like through a secret back door or something. Like it's like very understated, but it also gets its point across. So I just think it's a very well crafted, impressive, small movie that is like small, but also like deeply impactful if you're paying attention to it, kind of thing. But like I also would have a tough time recommending it unless someone cares about, you know, artful foreign films that don't offer like traditional narrative structure or answers or something.
It's definitely a very specific kind of movie for probably a very specific kind of audience, but I guess we're both part of that, where it's really well made and it's very well performed. I mean, the lead actress is so good, just not really doing much. But you could tell like she's just trying her best to just keep going with this big secret and what all of that means to her character and everything. It's a hard one to discuss. It's just, it's
3 stars. 3 stars for me for the current.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Yeah, 3 stars for me too.
All right. Next up, Renoir.
Another one. Very
literally another one that I have no idea what we're gonna say. Here's the trailer for Renoir. Another transfixing movie that is completely hard to describe.
本当に夢でよかったなと思った。終わり。
なかなか11歳でこういう文章を書ける子っていないんです。ただですね、こういうタイトルなんですよ。みなしごになってみたい。
勝手に親を殺すな。夏は越せないんじゃないか。このまま最後まで病院でお願いしたいって伝えたんです。
スペードの7。
なんですごい。
それ旦那さん。
なんで死んじゃったんですか。
今恋してるよね。
おじさんの顔、面白い？
This is like a coming of age movie about a kid who's dealing with the death of her father from cancer at a young age and also other stuff. Like there's so much going on. Tell me about it. What would you say about it? You
Yeah,
wrote
so
a bunch of words about this already, I'm sure.
I did, and that's going to be fun to try to again turn that into something spoken that might
Yes.
that might make it appeal to people. It's a story of an 11-year-old girl in Japan. Yeah, her father is dying of cancer, and he's in a hospital now because the mother can't do anything anymore, and it would be better if has round the clock medical care in a hospital. And it's about the girl trying to figure out what death is, basically, and what her relationship to her father has been and what her relationship with her mother is going to be. It's just about that. And this idea that also that the girl writes stories, and she writes stories about death and about, you know, the in the trailer, it's like she brings up this idea of what if I were an orphan, and the mother is immediately thinking like, don't do anything to me. Like I get that you're imagining all this stuff, but
Right.
and there's
psychic powers.
Yes,
involved.
she becomes involved in mesmerism and trying to figure out hypnosis and all of this and communicating with the dead in some way. She's just trying to work it all out.
Just trying to
And-
understand on the things that kids can't really understand. Yeah.
Exactly. That most of us can't understand, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we're adults and it's hard to grasp all of this stuff. So I really enjoyed it just on that level. It's a coming of age story that's actually about something big, and it tackles it in a unique way that you don't see it. And I really, really like that storytelling angle. I don't want to say too much, but there's a climactic encounter that she has with a stranger that is incredibly tense in the first part because
Yeah.
you know what's going on and she
Yeah.
doesn't quite understand it. But the way that resolves itself is an impossibility.
It's so surprising.
And
yeah.
but I love that what that says about her relationship and what she expects and what she's losing. It's genuinely heartbreaking by the end in ways
Yeah.
I was not quite anticipating.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I don't want to. There's nothing to say
Yeah,
more. Really, we can't really ruin it. I don't want to ruin it. But yeah, it's just a small movie about another small movie that feels hugely impactful by the end. If you're on its wavelength. Yeah, coming of age movie about how memory works almost too, like in the way that Blue Heron is kind of about the limitations of memory. This is kind of about seeing things from a kid's point of view at times. It's really good. It's really strong, unexpected, takes you, it surprised me at every turn. I was compelled by a full 2 hours. Good movie. 3 stars for Renoir.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's called that is smart, even though it's also maybe pretentious. It's also really clever the way it works.
Yeah, it's doing something. 3 stars for me too. I have to bring this up just because I was curious. It's the filmmaker is Chia Hayakawa. This is her second movie. We reviewed her first one on the podcast. It was Plan 75. That was the one about it was like a science fiction story about enforced euthanasia program when you hit 75.
Oh, yeah.
We reviewed
Okay.
that. So if anybody remembers that from 3 years ago or is interested in what this filmmaker might have done, we
Oh yeah,
reviewed that.
Plan 75 came out the same day as Chili 76.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, how could I forget? Yeah, okay. That's good note. I didn't remember that movie until looking at it right now. But yeah, this filmmaker is someone to watch then. This is a really good movie. 3 stars from both of us. Is that true?
Yes, that is true.
Okay. The last movie of the week is actually a movie from last week that Mark was on time with and I was late to. I was late to it by like an hour. I saw it right after we recorded. And I meant to get it out earlier, but didn't have time. So here it is now. I Love Boosters, the Boots Riley movie, his second film after Sorry to Bother You in 2018 or something. And he's also like an activist and a musician and interesting character. Here's a trailer for the movie, I Love Boosters.
Get your camera out. Let's go live.
You know the egregious theft that's been happening at my stores. The thieves will take my clothes because they're low-class urban bitches.
Christy Smith knows we exist.
I call it triple F, fashion forward philanthropy. I know how to spell philanthropy. Branding, though.
For that, you're a raw ass, make it happen, hustler.
Give it to me. It's mine anyway.
In fashion, humanity is our canvas. But the Velvet Gang is reducing our margins. I can bob and weave.
Christy Smith stole my design.
All right. Now, this movie's like a live-action cartoon in a lot of ways. I think it has great colors. Production design's great. It definitely loses me when a literal plot device is introduced and then the movie goes off the rails. But, like, I'm trying to imagine being on board for it and finding it fun. But there's so much interesting stuff about it to praise. Like, there's practical effects. Like, there's a part where she's running in an apartment that's sideways and her legs are going like this, and I watched the behind the scenes clip that's just like they built that like a bunch of legs in a circle. So like I appreciate the craft on display, but just like Sorry to Bother You let me down with a third act silly reveal, this one did it even earlier, and I just don't really jibe with the tone, I guess, of what Boots Riley is doing, even though I think it aesthetically is pleasing and I really appreciate the craft and the practicalness. But I don't know. Why didn't you connect with it?
I didn't. I do also appreciate the way the movie looks. I like what it's maybe trying to say. I also think it's maybe a little confused in what it's trying to say because I don't understand. You know, he's a political filmmaker, obviously. Sorry to Bother You had a lot of political angles and a lot of things it was trying to say, and I don't think it said it very well. This one has this thing that it's about designer fashion and it's also about workers' rights.
Yeah, like
and I just kind of
who's getting exploited by that. Like it brings in
Yeah.
the factory workers in a way that is
should have been more interesting, I think. But
Yeah,
that's when the plot
yeah.
device gets introduced.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my problem where I'm like, I like where you're going with all of this and I love the ideas you're pulling from, but like he didn't take the time to construct a narrative where those things came together naturally. Instead, he introduced convenient plot device and then I'm supposed to care about it still, which like it's just like a lack of craft of writing thing, I guess, that some people jive with and think it's fun. It's a silly movie, who cares? But it just like took me out of it, I guess.
Yeah, but it's a silly movie that is trying to make a point. There is this absurdity in the opening parts. When you brought up that the luxury apartment building that's tilted at an angle, as if that's supposed to be a feature of it, and that's what makes it exclusive, but it is completely impractical. It's very funny. That's a very funny
Yes.
sight gag, and it
Yes.
also is saying something about the wealthy and the elite and this sense of trying to gain status, even if it doesn't make any sense. That's a smart idea. But yeah, once you introduce this plot device as you're trying to raise worker awareness about unions and everything, it just becomes bogged down by the gimmicks of it.
I mean, it has Isa Gonzalez explain dialectical materialism to the audience, right? Like it just becomes like, I don't know, up its own ass or something is the right word.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. I
Yeah.
don't really and maybe it's just because I didn't quite get the whole why designer fashion is so important to beyond the exploitation of
Marxism,
it. But like
right.
why
Yeah.
is everybody why are you so obsessed with the designer fashion and also needing to do I don't know. There's just something. It's like that is such an outside of like, yeah, this is a exclusive thing. You don't really need it. You could get eventually designer fashion goes to like department stores where it's affordable eventually and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like why does it have to be that?
The plot device would have been one thing if it was one thing. But in the way it's written, it's like three things. And I'm like, this is the most lazy. I couldn't believe it. He's like, well, the plot device does these three things that are helpful to the plot of the movie. And I'm like,
exactly. Yep.
That kind of sucks, man. Like, it's not that interesting to be like, this gun does this, and then it does this and this. I thought it was just dumb by the end, but I appreciated a lot of it. So You know what I really love? The score. Tune Yards. Musicians I've
Yes.
always appreciated. A great, weird little avant-garde pop band. Tune Yards did a really great score that they should take a bow alongside Ludwig Göransson for having scores that are better than their movies that came out the same day, because it's Mandalorian also had that problem. But yeah, it just kind of gets wackier from that plot device thing, and I was with it until I wasn't, I guess, is where I was on this one.
Yeah, I wanted to be with it, and then it just kept pushing away its better ideas for this silliness and this gimmick. We didn't even talk about Lakeith Stanfield and what his character is. I don't even know if it's worth bringing up. It's a funny idea. This guy who's essentially a sex demon wandering around doing stuff. That could be its own story. I don't know why it's in this movie where it doesn't have anything to do with anything, except that he does become convenient for the plot in the third act at one point. So that's exactly, I guess, why he's in it. Strange movie that it starts off kind of funny and just loses its way as it keeps going.
Yeah, that's
Kind of like Sorry to Bother You. At least what we both think of that. I think we were in the minority on that one. Just we weren't doing the show back then, but we both aren't big fans of that one. So
yeah, I was definitely not on the hype train for that one, but that's okay. That's okay. Don't have to love everything. Where are you on it? How many stars?
2 stars for me for I Love Boosters.
I'll go 2.5 to counter your
Okay.
2, because there was some stuff about it I appreciated. All right, I think that was all the movies for this week. I'm not going to force us to do all the extra comments that I've been promising. I think
Let
we can
me
just
quickly do the
those.
recap.
Yeah,
for people.
please go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, don't mean to bother you. Sorry to bother you.
Sorry to bother you guys. You're right. Mark's
All
right.
Real quick. Backrooms, 2 stars from me, 2.5 stars from Brett. Pressure, 2 stars from both of us. The Breadwinner, 3 stars from me, 2.5 stars from Brett. John Travolta's Propeller, One-Way Night Coach about a plane, 1.5 stars from me, 2.5 stars from Brett. Smothered on Shudder, 3 stars from both of us. The Currents, 3 stars from both of us. Renoir, 3 stars from both of us. And I Love Boosters, 2 stars from me, 2.5 stars from Brett.
All right. Thank you, Mark. I was just looking at the comments. They're all just like old stuff. I don't think we really need to get into them. I think there was a review on Apple Podcasts I wanted to get to a couple weeks ago. It's from, my computer won't let me see the full name of this user. Los somebody, a great, almost comprehensive film review podcast. Easily the most thorough new film review podcast and a consistent source of joy. Also, can't wait for the review of the most anticipated film of the year about a colorful little guy and his buddy, Silent Friend. Well, I hope you enjoyed our review of Silent Friend and also The Mandalorian and Grogu and whatever else. Thanks to all the new subscribers on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever you are. We appreciate you. If you have a comment that you feel like we really needed to read and we didn't read it in the last 3 weeks, let us know in a new comment and we'll get it in
please
there.
do. It's just we lost track.
We lost
it's
track
kinda
of
hard to
time
keep up
and
where we were at. And,
yeah,
and
it's
also
just
in terms of the comments.
just easier to move on. I don't think anyone cares that much, but if anyone does, let us
But
know.
if you do, and we appreciate the feedback. We don't want to say that. Yeah,
no, we've read them all.
appreciate
We've
of
read
it.
them all.
Yeah,
we saw them all.
Yeah,
we just
have.
didn't do it on the show, which sometimes might disappoint somebody. But we'll be back next week with Masters of the Universe, the film, which I'm actually getting excited about based on what I've heard. Scary Movie, the remake, or not the remake. What do you call it? It's a sequel, but it's a reboot, is how they're described. That's titled. And a shark movie called Chum, Samara Weaving movie called Caroline, and some indies. One of an indie that I was surprised with, Mark. The one we talked about maybe the other day. Interesting cast, sci-fi. I was kind of like, okay,
yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I was too. Okay,
Okay,
good.
cool.
There are
good.
times I watch some movies and I'm like, huh, am I crazy or
Yeah.
is that
No.
something
I'm with you.
worthwhile? Okay,
I was like,
cool.
This is good stuff. So we'll talk about that surprise movie next week. Cool. Thanks, guys. See ya.